Warning! This story contains spoilers for Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story. Please like, subscribe, and pause the video, click on the link, and read the story yourself before leaving your honest review. Thank you. Now that that's out of the way, yes! Seuss. Sorry, been binge watching Gravity Falls. I like that show. That show's really quirky. So anyway, in my 17 years of reading stories, novels, short stories, stuff like that, I've come across a whole list of types of stories. Sci-fi, adventure, romance, horror, even in the fanfiction genre itself, self-insert, what ifs, alternate universes, all these types of stories. But there's one type of story that stands above beyond as like the precipice, the ultimate challenge for anyone who wants to read or write anything. And that is a novelization. What is a novelization? It is basically you take any sort of media, be it a movie, a video game, like I'm reviewing, a play, and you try and conceptualize that into a novel. You not turn whatever you want into a novel. And why this type of story is extremely hard is due to the fact of built-in expectations. So many people want the certain type of story, whatever they're reading, to meet a certain criteria. And if they don't meet that criteria, then they're not going to read it. And this is especially hard in a novelization because you're basing it off something that already exists. So, like, take the S.D. Perry novels of Resident Evil. I liked them. I like the original stories too. Go, Rebecca! Come back, Rebecca! Yeah. But most people would rather play the games. They wouldn't read the story because why read it when I can actually do it and play the games? And then they realize it's Resident Evil and they're gonna get killed a lot. Oh well. But with all these novelizations are extremely hard to write. You have to do a lot of research, a lot of rough drafts, a lot of proofreading. There's so much to go into these types of stories that most of the time they fall flat. They fall well off the mark, and it's not really your fault. It's the fact that it didn't match up with the story and how people see it. But when you hit it, you hit it. It is considered a sort of off-the-record high metal. Like, if you make a good novelization, you've done it. You are considered a excellent author worthy of praise. And that's where this review of Mario and Luigi and Bowser by Wakazoo is. It's a novelization of Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story. And I've already played Bowser's Inside Story a lot. I really love the game. I like Partners in Time. I like Superstar Saga. But I really loved Bowser's Inside Story. It told well, not really. Superstar Saga, I guess, told the better story. But Bowser's Inside Story, BIS kind of refined everything else. And delivered a great story, too. So you're wondering, Wakazoo, why does that seem familiar? Why does that name... truth be told, go online. Go into the Super Mario Wiki. Yes, she's one of the administrators of that website, so she knows what she's talking about. She is... I'm not telling you anything about her. Yes, it's a her. She kind of started that whole obsession I mentioned last episode about me always meeting female authoresses online on that web on FanFiction.net. It always happens. Always. So, how I would rate... Crap, I lost train. There we go. Yeah, she's a senior administrator for that website. So, if you go on the Super Mario Wiki, chances are you've probably seen her. You've probably at least seen her name, or at least have the picture of her original character, Bowser's wife, Bowzelta. I know. And what I like about this story is, honest to God, it beats the expectations of the game. And that is saying something, because when people think of the Mario and Luigi saga story games, they think of Bowser in that story. It's considered the best of the series. And so when you challenge yourself to match the best, you have to go above and beyond. And Wakasu has nailed it out. So, the plot. The plot is, well, again, it's a novelization. It's basically the game. Basically, Fawful, yes, that Fawful, the bean guy that likes to talk in English. English? I have fury! He has a plan to get revenge on Mario and Luigi for Cackletta passing away. And his idea is to infect all the Toads with with a disease called the Blorps, which makes them turn into a bowling ball? A gigantic bowling? I don't know. It's like I think of like the pea balloons from Mario World, but you turn into a spear. I have no idea what I'm talking about. And so he tricks Bowser into eating a mushroom that absorbs him. Not absorbs him. Wow, absorbs Mario and Luigi and a couple Toads and Princess Peach and the new character named Starlo, and she's gonna be real important in this story. So keep that in mind. Into himself, and more importantly into his body, and so they have to journey throughout Bowser's body while Bowser tries to stop Fawful's plan because he wants the princess. He wants the princess. Nobody steals the princess and takes over the Mushroom Kingdom but me. And yes, that's a good plot, but Wakazu does it better. She didn't like the idea of them going into Bowser's body, so she switched it up with the body with his hammer space. If you don't know what hammer space is, it's, you know, in cartoons, when they reach behind their backs and all of a sudden they grab an item, that's hammer space. Think of Deadpool, any Sonic game where they literally reach behind their backs and pull out a Chaos Emerald, that's hammer space. Or the Koopa clown car that has all those big metal things from Mario World. Continuing the analogy. It's everywhere in video games, and she uses the idea of them being absorbed into his hammer space, which is, in essence, innate magic. And how the plot goes is, first off, if you want to capture people's attention and novelization, you gotta deliver that hook as fast as possible within the first chapter. If they're not hooked by that first chapter, they're just gonna go play the game, or they're gonna watch the movie, or they're gonna look at the play. Probably not the play, because most kids nowadays will not watch a play unless it's like Book of Mormon or Wizard of Oz, because Wizard of Oz is classic. And it falls onto one little person, one little yellow ball with a star on her head to save everyone. Yes, that is the hook of this story. Mario and Luigi and Bowser, yes, they saved the kingdom, but Starlo, she saved them. She saves all of them. And how she does that is when there is the whole Blorps in the story is one gigantic test. It's one test to see if Starlo is worthy enough to ascend to a Star Sage. And I think she does mention it at one point in the game. I can't remember. I haven't played the game in a while. And so, when they're absorbed into Bowser, they go into hammer space, and Starlo creates the whole idea, what you see in the game, out of using the magic in the hammer space and her own magic to create these illusions to trick the Toads, Mario and Luigi, and Peach. Well, although Peach doesn't fall for it for 1 second, and Mario and Luigi kind of say, "Oh, we knew all no, that's not what it looks like right at the end." So yeah, spoilers for that. And so she does it under good intentions. And so, of course, it follows the course of the game. Mario and Luigi kind of fix Bowser up, give him new powers, while Bowser goes and beats up and tries to stop Fawful and save the princess, but wanting to kidnap him, and save his castle so he can go kidnap the princess, and then turning big and all sorts of things. And it's a really good plot. I mean, you have a good foundation for a plot in the story itself. The story itself is actually really good. I like Bowser Inside Story plot was actually good. Not as good as Superstar Saga, or you could throw a Slim Case for Partners in Time. That had a really dark, disturbing plot. Or even if you go to like the sister series, since now Paper Jam happened, and now Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi, Super Paper Mario, because I had like the best plot ever, one of the best plots I've ever seen in a video game. And it gave us Dementio, and he's awesome. Oh hell, Dementio! And you have a good foundation, and she expanded on that. She gave us wonderful locations, how everything's described. All the characters are jumping ahead of myself. Indigestion? I don't know. And it gave us all these unique takes on the game itself. It even mentions how Bowser turned so lethargic that if I can't even beat one of those fat Goombas, I'm just gonna give up. Must soldier on for I can kidnap the princess. And all the humor is there. All the lines from the game are in the story, with like one or two exceptions, I think. Stop. Sorry, yelling "stop" at my dog is. No, don't give me puppy dog eyes. Don't give me puppy dog eyes. And giving us that satisfaction of how the story is progressing, that even people who played the game but haven't read the story, you can get into the story amazingly. Everything is written to the point where you don't even have to play the game and you understand what's going on. And like, oh, that's who Fawful is. Oh, that's who Cackletta is. And everything happened because when I was following the story, this Mario and Luigi and Bowser is one of the few stories I followed, and I kind of knew the game plot, so I kind of already knew what's happening. But I wanted to see how Wakazu twisted into her narrative, her version, and I was honestly surprised at how good she did it. Everything was crisp. Everything was incredibly imaginative. Everything worked. She built upon the plot with such aplomb that even if you never played the game, you automatically become a master of what's happening. And I have to give her kudos for that. I have to give it a 10 out of 10. Character development. Not a single character is wasted in the story. Even the minor characters like Chakra. Chakra actually becomes a bigger part of the story than in the game. In the game, all he does is like, I'm watching the stars wash over like waves. I don't know how. Oh, I failed at speaking like Chakra. Oh, that was so embarrassing. And he just spoke like a hippie. And of course, Baroque. Mr. Titterbits. Oh, you get the blockies. I give you brokey. And they both become a bigger part of the story. Even the turtle, the old turtle that tells you to pull his, I forgot his name. Even he becomes important at like one point in the story where he gives like this one big expository dump on you. That connects all the previous plot points into that one moment, and it was so fluid, I would have to say. Everything made sense. Not a single character was wasted. Major or minor, Starlo, Bowser, Mario, Luigi, they were all improved on, especially Starlo. Starlo kind of came off. If there's one complaint I had about the game is that Starlo kind of came off as a jerk. Poor Luigi! Poor Luigi! Oh, at least he got revenge in Dream Team. Saying, I turned big, bitch. I gotta stop cursing. I hate cursing. And so, everything that you saw in the game is improved upon. You saw all these great characters explored more in depth and more conscious. You see Chakra kind of being a governing body, sort of a conscious to Starlo, while you have Wisdom kind of being an antagonistic force wanting to lead Starlo towards what the stars think. And there's really kind of what I like about Walker Cesari. I might as well bring this up because she has 4 more stories that I'm probably going to review in the future. Is in her stories, there's not really a clear-cut divide of what is good and what is evil, and that kind of gives a unique wrinkle to the Mario narrative, because a running theme throughout the story is what the stars want versus what Starlo wants, because Wisdom represents the stars. She wants the stars to She wants Starlo to follow what the stars want, their conscious mind, and they even admit. They said, "Oh, if Bowser dies, we won't care." Yes, the stars themselves actually do that. Wisdom is kind of what the stars want, but Chakron wants Starlo to say, "Do you think Bowser's evil?" They said, "Yes. I want you, when you're on this journey, keep thinking that." And at the end of the adventure, ask that question to yourself again. Do you think Bowser's evil? Not really. I think he's more messing up. And that is a great message. Versus the need of one versus your own individuality. And it's really explored exceptionally well. And as you see Starlo grow, because the story is all about Starlo. Mario, Luigi, Bowser, Fawful, they all fall in line. They all kind of fall to the wayside, but for the growth of Starlo. Starlo's the star of this story. And how she develops from the beginning of the story to the end of the story is very much how to do a flawed protagonist right. I have to give that a 10 out of 10. I can't really find any complaints except maybe less butt monkey for Luigi. I like Luigi, so I like Luigi. I can't explain it any more than that. I like Luigi. Go Luigi! Luigi Manos! I am going to save that princess! But you're Luigi! Aww. Back on track. Grammar, I never found anything wrong with the grammar. Not one bit. So I have to give that a 10 out of 10. 2. Pacing and imagery. Pacing is immaculate. It follows the pacing of the game exact. Even scenes that are kind of exclusive to the story, like Fawful. There's a scene, like if you played the game, you know when Bowser gets fat and he gets stuck on the floor, and he starts talking to himself by the Nutso Globin, I believe it's called. And in the story, there's a scene that has Fawful peeking in with the Koopa, the Shy Guy, the elite trio. You know that become, and he sees. Do you believe Fawful now? Bowser has gone kind of crazy, but he's Bowser. He's Bowser, sir. He's Bowser. But he's gone crazy. I don't think he can be trusted anymore. Said Fawful, if you follow Fawful, Fawful will give you riches. Fawful will give you all this. Bowser, he will go away like the fish in Up to Swim. I can't do Fawful worth damn. The imagery is immaculate. Everything looks like the story. Sure, you kind of get like fleeting slight descriptions of like the enemies, and you do describe all the bosses relatively well. But stop, Arya. Stop. Sorry about that. And everything is fine. Everything is great. I can't really find no faults with the story. Stop it. Fine, you can go on my lap. And I can't really find. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I'm like that guy. I'm like that one scene from Men in Black when he's shaking the dog. No, don't let me go. Let me go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, this is my dog. Again. Say hi, Arya. I would take over well with genius. So anyway, where was I? All right. Finally, emotional investment in and connects in the genre. It is a. I gotta bring up the link 1 second. So how are you all doing? I'm fine. That is good. Oh, I really gotta stop. I really need to stop saving that. It is an adventure drama, and it really does feel like a drama. With all the pieces moving and Starlo's constantly devising herself whether she should follow herself or follow her bosses and her people. It brings that very great narrative and brings everything together. An adventure, of course, is an adventure. It's a Mario and Luigi story. Yeah, I know. Kind of quick with that one. Emotional investment. I was not expecting to get emotionally involved in this story, honestly. But when I read that the first chapter of it, the boards being something more just a glorified test, and that Starlo's becomes technically the savior of the Mushroom Kingdom, I kind of got invested. And as I was reading the story, I kept getting more invested. Not with the Mario and Luigi parts, but with Starlo as a character and how her growth and how she develops throughout the story. And it was just so amazing. I got invested just in her. Yeah, Mario and Luigi, yeah, I kind of already told you so. I want to read about the little star with an attitude. And that just made me cheer when I read at the end of the story and I saw all this expository and all this prose and how her character grows and the villain's motivation changing and all this twisting and weaving of an story that I kind of already know how it goes. And I have to admit, it got me. I kind of cried for a part that's coming up. It's coming up a little bit. And the ending, it made me cheer, saying, "Oh, Starlo does a little helpful thing for Bowser and gives him a cake." You know, the cake at the end, you get the cake with little toys. Like, oh, she gives it to him, and I really like that. And even at the end, where she actually becomes a Star Sage, and instead of keeping that power, she gives the power to make sure Bowser lives. And I really like that. It's such a gross, intrusive story that I think I used those words wrong. I think. Wrong choice of words. That you see her growth, and you just go in awe of how well she's written, how well she grows on you. Because people don't really like Starlo, but when reading the story, I started clapping for Starlo, and I started liking Starlo. I still don't really like Starlo, because I still think she's more of a colossal jerk towards Luigi. Go Luigi, save Luigi! No, Mario! Damn Mario! I need to go to the machine! And I need to go to Stars Orlando, go make out with my princess! Forget about princess! I know! I pretend! But what about Daisy? What about Daisy, Luigi? Oh? Oh, wait, Daisy! Yeah, I made fun of Luigi. I jumped on the bandwagon. And you just see so much joy in how complex she becomes, especially halfway through the story, and how much you get into her tale by itself. And just for that merit alone, I have to give it a 10 out of 10. Now, final thoughts. First off, my favorite part is not really one part, it's an entire chapter. My favorite part in the entire story is the entirety of chapter 53, called Memoria. In this point in the story, if you played the game, it's when they go into Bowser's brain. They already beat the computer programs, the 8-bit Mario and Luigi fight, which I admit was pretty much my favorite fight in the game. And then Bowser's at the safe trying to figure out the lock. And so Mario and Luigi are solving the puzzles to try and figure out what the safe code is. Starlo, she decides to do a little investigating. So she hacks and sneaks into Bowser's memories, and this is when her development really kicks in gear. You saw signs of improvement, but you get that shift right in this chapter. And you see all this sadness, all these expectations, not only Bowser put on himself, but all the other people of his kingdom, and especially Kamek, put on him. You see the sadness, you see this kind of terror, and then you get a little cameo of Bowsetta. And then what I liked about that part most of all was the end. It had a memory of Bowser, with Starlo looking through Bowser's eyes, of him gingerly holding an envelope and opening it with the princess' handwriting. And Princess throws an olive branch. And she asked him and said, I know we don't really like each other. I know you kidnapping me, but I know you're going through a great emotional pain, and I know why you're kidnapping. She flat admits she knows why she's being kidnapped. And she asked Bowser, said, would you like to go-karting? And that part, how it was written, had me in tears. That part, the whole chapter, but that part specifically, had me emotional. And it brought together not only this story, but all the other 4 stories that she wrote into this one moment. How well she respects Bowser, how well she knows the pain he's going through for losing a loved one. How much she knows that Starlo finds out that Bowser, the kingdom means everything, and he really wants what's best for the kingdom. He doesn't want to kidnap the princess out of, taking over. He wants to kidnap the people so that way his people can go into the sun, so that we can be happy. And he's willing to wage all these wars just so his people can see the sunlight. And that part, that envelope, and everything that leading up to it, it just moved me. It brought me to tears. I immediately stopped finishing that chapter. I went to the PM, and I congratulated Wakazu on how good it was. And even at the end of the story, I even mentioned how great the story was, and I gave her typed in a round of applause, like a theater stuff. But just that one scene, I would honestly, and I'm recommending this story heavily, unless you'd rather play the game. But if you want to see another side, I would recommend it. But I would recommend that story just for that chapter. That chapter was so moving. It was so emotional. And how it brought everything up to that point, from the beginning of the story up to that point, and how it drives Starlo's motivations through the end of the story. It just a masterful take on an emotional impact of how people react to certain situations they don't know themselves, and they only find out through unintentional means. And it's just I'm trying to think of it like no, not Aristine. That's way too sad. That's even sad. Something sad. Something that, you take someone that you see a bully. The perfect example is a bully. They pick on kids, but when you find out about them, you realize they come from a broken home. They get hurt, and they're only using anger to lash out. That's kind of like Bowser, and you kind of get sad because you sympathize with him. And you just can't help but shed a tear over their pain and torment and how they're dealing with the situation. Because now you just want to help them. You want to at least try your best to help them. Whether they accept the help or not, you tried your best. And that's what I felt with this situation. I felt that Starlo saw a bully in Bowser, realized what he's going through, and wants to at least try to help him. And that part just really solidified the entire story, and how even better than the story of the game itself. And I would recommend the entire story just for that one chapter. It is that great. On that somber note, final thoughts. A masterful piece of artwork, literature, and I have to give Wakazu props for making a novelization that's actually worth reading. And again, that's a really, really hard thing to do. Make a novelization that's worth reading. And of course, you can look at all these novelizations all across various fandoms, and you're not gonna like all of them because they don't match your expectations. But with this story, it is so amazing, so phenomenal that you can't help but feel motivated to wanting to see the rest of the story. How the story between Starlo and Bowser and Chakra and Wisdom and all the stars and everything, not only the story but the other Super Koopa tetralogy goes, and just see how well it connects and how well you see this family bonding and everything and all these growth and how well it develops as a growth of an art. How not only the writing as a story-driven device, but how the authoress grows as a writer herself, and it really counts as her magnum opus. That her other 4 stories are good or great, but this one just stands above and beyond. And one final thing, if you read Mario FanFictions, you should know a little story called Better Off Alone by Great Chicken Miasma. And not only me, but a lot of people consider that like one of the greatest fanfictions of all time, if not the greatest Mario fanfiction. Mario, Luigi, and Bowser comes pretty dang close to usurping that story. It comes dang close. It comes that close. Not for the fact that I like Vivian more than Starlo, then maybe I would have given BIS the novelization over BOA. That's just me. So, that's my opinion on the story. Tell me what you think in the comment section, please. And again, please like, subscribe, and comment. Ta-da! Toodles! I need to think of a catchphrase, don't I? I'm also no Dwayne Johnson.